right, game on.
Hey Mark, I found your car.
Welcome back to KYD episode 100. And you know, we have driven all across North America, over 60,000 miles, Mexico, Canada, the United States.
3 countries!
And we thought, you know, before we go to Alaska, maybe we should learn how to drive.
You're doing it wrong! All wrong!
Tell everyone where we are, if it's not obvious.
We are at the School of High Performance Driving, also known as Bondurant.
That's right.
This is the place to be, and my car is right up front.
Well, these are the instructor cars, Trish.
Exactly.
So we're down here for 2 days, and I don't know exactly everything we have planned, but I do know that there is going to be these fancy skid cars involved. There's going to be a van ride involved, and there's going to be a lot of race car driving. But most importantly, there's going to be a lot of instruction.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited.
Our goal over the next 2 days is to take the principles we learn here, share with you, so we all are better, safer drivers.
Yes, so how does racing a car apply to driving a rig?
And that is what we're going to find out. So let's go.
Okay, we've had our classroom time, so now it's time to drive. We are getting in a Dodge Hellcat.
This is actually the world's fastest car that you can buy from the factory that has 4 doors. So Dodge did something pretty special with their Charger a couple years ago, in that they put the highest horsepower engine that they have in their family sedan. I'll be telling you it's clear to go. You'll get the car up to speed. Turn 1, you can actually get through without hitting any brakes. You can literally go through at freeway speeds. Turn 2 is a very, very late decreasing radius corner, so a lot of patience involved. Wait, car rotated. Turn 4 right here, very, very tight. Wait, get the car rotated. Final corner on the second lap is this constant radius corner. You can see very easy to get the car sideways on. We're going to be doing 2 laps around here, so a big constant radius corner, lead us back on the main straightaway. Okay. And then it starts all over again.
Great.
On the brakes, eyes in, get the car rotated, and put the power to the ground. Wait. On the brakes. Try to put that power to the ground. It's the fun problem to have when you got too much power, right?
Oh yeah.
So that'll be our little racetrack.
Awesome. Decrease and constant feel very similar.
Decreasing and constant are the ones that are very similar, actually, yes.
Are they really?
Yeah, they actually are, yeah. The oddball is the increasing radius corner, so tight angle on entry and then it opens up.
Okay, now we're moving into the slalom exercise. This is so much fun, but it's not because you're going fast, but because you're controlling the car. You're figuring out how to get around these cones and bringing the wheel back to center so that you can stay in control and know what the car is capable of.
So Trish is up there, right? And she's getting instruction. And then when she leaves, it's 700 horsepower, so much horsepower. You hear the car take off and leave. And to know that Trish is driving it, it's just so funny. All I can think of is shake and bake.
Do you get points for how many cones you hit? Are those bonus?
No, you get fines. You might have heard, if you hit a cone, it's fine. He meant if you hit a cone, it's a fine.
This run was really good. It was just up until that last point, right? It's that consistency. And that's just in the sport in general, right? You know, to be able to do a lap well, it's not too difficult, but okay, now do it 5 times like that. Okay, now do it 10 times. Now do it the exact same for an hour. And that's where the hard part of the sport really comes into play.
Already we've learned so much, and I thought this was going to be a super fun, sexy episode of racing cars and B-roll and audio and all that stuff. And immediately, my expectations get reset in terms of learning. It's just learning, and it's taking these principles of vision and correct posture and steering and weight control, and it makes all the sense in the world, and it's all applicable to driving a diesel or a half-ton truck or an RV, Class A, Class C, Sprinter, whatever it is. It's a lot of fun. Let's do it one more time faster.
The car beats you there. So off the gas, counter steer, eyes up, eyes up. So just a little too much throttle.
What the heck happened?
Yeah, we didn't make it. Let's do it again.
Unbelievable. This is an exercise of vision.
I'll you know, spoiling a bit of a surprise, I guess you could say, is that if we hope that you take away one thing from this this experience, it's that importance of vision.
If you get visually lazy, it's over.
It's crazy.
You just look at the cones, and everything's easy.
Same exact thing on the racetrack. Good. You'll counter steer and then you'll throttle. So just kind of like those balanced laps, everything one piece at a time. Lift, then turn, then counter steer, then throttle. Beautiful. Same exact thing over here. Good job.
All right, we're out here at the oval track, and the point here is to understand the drive line, to put on the right braking at the right time. So
Connect the dots, as they say.
that's right, because the shortest distance between 2 points
Is a straight line.
That's right. So it's about finding the apex so that we can optimize the drive line and get around this track as fast as possible. So Trish and I are going to jump in the cars.
Yes.
And Trish, I just got to say,
Yeah.
he's totally fine with you drifting.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay?
Perfect.
So
Yes.
you can drift. I'll record you drifting. All right.
Drift
But listen,
around
one
the
thing.
apex.
One
Yes.
thing. Don't drift the rig. No.
Never.
No drifting with the rig.
Never.
All right. So let's jump in these. Hellcats and get it going. Second. You guys are driving, what the heck? All right, small confession, Trish and I might not have been in those cars, but I don't think it would have been any different. How'd you do?
Well, I'm learning how to beat you today.
I'm talking speed secrets.
Speed secrets. There's like this much space I need to you know, close the gap.
All right, we got Trish out here doing the heel toe downshift, and I think you can hear from the engine that she's doing it correctly. So just listen to this as she comes down here this late. Here, ready? Here she comes. Not too bad. That's got to be 70. Hear that? I'll tell you what. I think we're gonna shave at least 5 days off Alaska at this rate. I mean, wouldn't you say? I mean, Trish does most of the driving. We're gonna get there at least 5 days sooner, no question. ABS is an anti-lock braking system, but at Bondurant they call it the ability to steer, to brake and steer, ability to brake and steer. And that's exactly what it does. And just like everything at Bondurant, here is the philosophy, here's the approach, here's the instruction, here's a demonstration, now it's your turn, and then here's some coaching on how to improve. And I mean, it just couldn't be a better approach to actually learning. All right, here comes Trish. She's getting the car up to 65 miles per hour. She's gonna engage ABS and stop. Watch this. Did you see that? It's impressive. Whoa, stopping short. How was that?
That was real life. That was real life. Really feeling the aggression that it takes to stop that fast.
And turn.
And turn and get out of the way?
It was nuts.
Yeah.
It was weird to even be standing right there and have a car go by at 65 miles per hour and stop like that.
Yeah, I think that everyone needs to drive their truck because we get so many messages about I got a new truck and a new trailer. Everyone needs to drive their truck and work on those brakes. Those ABS brakes are kind of crazy. You need to know what your truck can handle.
Trish, what are you doing?
Visualization.
And so whose car is out front?
The white one.
The white one.
The white one.
The white one.
The white one. I don't know whose car that is. Just saying, this white one seems to be taking the corners pretty well.
Yeah, the white one really
Yeah.
is nailing the apex. We're headed out to the Autocross. This is where everything is going to come together. Everything we've been learning up to this point is to come here and apply so that we can time this track. Trish is still visualizing.
Hey, listen, I gotta be able to see it at some point. I just read a book recently that
Yes.
talked about measuring yourself against yourself and not others.
Yes.
So look for personal bests. So that's how I'm about to go attack the course.
I like it.
Yeah, personal
like it.
best.
Personal
Work
best.
on all those building blocks.
Yes.
Yeah, we have the braking, we have the line in our steering, we have the apex, where we're supposed to let off,
Vision.
our vision, and then the trailing brake.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're gonna put all those blocks together, and then if you can really use them, you can shave off speed, or as we like to call it here, scrub off speed. Okay. Okay, here we go.
All right,
Yeah.
Trish. Winning. Smooth is fast. Fast is smooth.
Almost killing your husband is not good for your lap time.
All of a sudden I look up and there you are, you're like,
So how was your time?
well, it was 1 minute and 3 seconds.
High five.
Thank you.
That's good. They said your progression was stellar.
Really?
Yeah, from where you started. What did you say before we got started with this?
Yes, you got to go against yourself. Race against yourself.
Compete against yourself.
Yes.
I got 57 seconds, which they said was fairly impressive. It's all because of the principles we've been learning out here.
Yes.
Okay, so it's one thing to go through this autocross in a Hellcat. Okay? But how fast and how much control do you think if we went in that? Well, we're gonna find out.
We're going to find out, but there are some basic principles that apply. You are dealing with more weight, so braking is essential. Managing your brakes, not overusing them,
early on.
and then using them earlier on because you have to bring more weight to a stop.
Turning the wheel,
Yeah.
you're backing off that pressure.
This is the scary part, right? How fast are you going?
That was 55.
Yeah, you go 55 miles per hour in a van into a corner, and that's got to be where people start breaking down in tears. What are you doing over there?
This right here, this is someone who knows how to handle a car.
He sure does. The folks down here at Bondurant are first class.
All the way.
Everything they do it very well, and so you'll be very well taken care of. We also had the pleasure of meeting Bob Bondurant and his wife Pat with Jason Bondurant.
Total privilege.
Yeah, and speaking of Bob and his amazing career, we're in the museum now.
And we're
And-
looking at these pictures that are spectacular.
Yeah.
I'll walk down memory lane, really.
It really is.
The whole
So Bob is
timeline.
really responsible for putting the Americans on the map when it comes to race car driving.
Well done.
He's beat Carroll Shelby, and then Carroll said, or Shelby said, Bob, why don't you start racing for me? And so Bob started racing for Carroll Shelby, and then he beat the Enzo Ferrari team. So guess who his next job was? With Enzo Ferrari. And then he got into a really bad accident, and they didn't think he would walk again.
Before the crash, he was always instructing, always teaching. That made a natural path to instructing.
That's right. Yeah, and so by the time he was able to walk again, the Bondurant School of Driving was already formed, it was already flourishing, so then he just continued to do that. But it's been really neat to kind of get to see the legend and the history behind that.
The evolution.
Evolution, yeah, it's
Yes.
50 years in the making, and I think Bondurant just last week celebrated their 50th anniversary. I'd say our time here is done.
We have stretched the limits.
All right, let me rephrase. I'm done.
What was your favorite part?
Oh man, vision?
Vision.
That's just my answer. That's my
We
answer to
joke,
everything.
that's like the button, the vision button.
I tell you, we joke about it, but it's that important.
Yeah, every single time. Whenever I wasn't doing well on the racetrack, I was like slowing down. I knew I wasn't doing well because the guys were ahead of me by like 20 cars. I was like, oh yeah, I'm looking right down, because if something goes wrong, all of a sudden you'll notice your vision is going down, or
Yeah.
it's going to the problem instead of looking up and out. Where are you
Looking
going?
at the solution.
As soon as I did that, it would
Yeah.
switch and I'd catch up to you guys.
Yeah, and that's what we were saying before, which is so neat about this. this, is that the principles you learn here are directly applicable to the everyday driving a rig, driving a truck, pulling a trailer. And so, yeah, you can't go wrong. If you're out here in Arizona, come out here, stay on property in your rig.
How easy is that?
And take the 1 day, the 2 day, the 4 day. I guarantee you're gonna have a great time. Yeah.
And then they have the top down where you get to go for a drive all the way.
Oh
in
yeah,
the
yeah. In the Fiats, there's a little Fiat deal where you come out here and you race the Fiats and learn all the car handling we're talking about. And then you can take them up to Prescott with the top down. And Pat Bondurant has said it's like an oil painting tour, because everywhere you look, it's just another oil painting.
And what people might not realize about Arizona is we have so many kinds of scenery.
That's right.
We have the desert, we have
high desert.
We have the high desert. We actually have evergreen trees.
Yeah.
So there are so many things to enjoy here, and that would be a great way.
Yeah. So this was a lot of fun, and we are so glad we were able to share this with you, and I hope that you got something out from a car handling perspective out of our experience.
Take something. It's not good enough to know it, though, unless you apply it. So take that truck out and apply it in a parking lot.
Yeah, test your equipment.
And test your equipment.
Yeah. There's still more to come. Trish and I are headed up north. We're going to do a Lee's fishing trip, which we're super excited about. Then we're going to do a season 4 wrap up, and then it's nothing but truck upgrades, RV upgrades. We're going to do suspension, tires, solar, all that stuff. Get prepared for season 5, which is right around the corner.
Awesome.
All right, that is it for this weekend. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and join us. We release a new video every Sunday.
Every Sunday. We love meeting up with you.
Yeah.
And we're so glad you're here.
All right.
Bye for now.